welcome to Success Story Chronicles, in which we bring people from Canada who have demonstrated success and try to reflect upon their life and learn how did they manage to achieve that success. And you'll find there are a lot of people that who's are successful in their careers, in their professional and personal life, but there are only very few people, handful of people, those actually who are successful in their own career and professional life, but also they were able to do some meaningful work in the community. So today we got Khurram Tuaheed. Khurram has been phenomenal, and he has been sort of very inspirational to me as well when it comes to serving the community. Welcome, Khurram, to our show. How are you today?
Thanks, Yunus. Thanks, and welcome to all listeners as well. Yeah, I'm doing good. Perfect. Right? It's a perfect day here, in Calgary. Yeah, so I'm doing good.
Great.
Thanks for
Thanks a
your
lot
introduction,
again.
by the way.
Thanks a lot again for taking time and then sparing some half an hour, 45 minutes with us. So let's start your journey in Canada, or maybe if you rewind it a little bit, that where are you from and which year you came to Canada and where did you landed, and then maybe if you can reflect your early days.
Okay, so just as like others, like my story as an immigrant is not different than other people, right? So I landed here in Canada back in 2005, and I was lucky enough that those days, if you remember, it was like a boom days, in Calgary, in Alberta. The province was booming because of the oil and gas, sector. So I was lucky enough, I landed at the same time, right? Back in 2005, September 2005, I landed to Canada. I came directly to Calgary, and yeah, as you know, by profession, I'm an engineer, and I'm a mechanical engineer. I did graduate from NED University in Karachi, Pakistan, and did almost 5 year work in Pakistan, and then came to Canada. So when I came to Canada, I already had an experience in my field. But in addition to that, when I came here in Canada, I started my, I started doing masters in engineering as well in University of Calgary. So I did completed my masters of engineering in, University of Calgary as well. And luckily, I got a first job in one of the engineering company, local company here in Calgary. So that was the start of my journey. And yeah, and then till today, I'm on job actually. So switch from one job to another job, from one career to another. I'm going to talk about this, how I moved my career from one career to another career, and also industry wise as well. So I changed my industries as well during this career path, right? So this is something like, that's I call it the diversification, right? So this is something like some people don't do diverse of themselves. I personally feel that's something, that's something we need to do in our career path, right? So yeah, that's the story I have. I don't have any much, to say about this. Yeah. So, and currently I'm working, by the way, currently I'm working with a fertilizer industry, with one of the, fertilizer plant here in Calgary again, as a project manager job.
Great. So when you came to Canada, 2005, so you started studying directly, or you were working as well in parallel?
So it was like in parallel. So I started working, and also, I was studying in parallel. It was a part-time master's MH program in University of Calgary.
Okay. So your first job actually was not after after your degree. You had the first job. So what I'm trying to get actually is to learn that how did you manage to get the first job? Because that's an issue here in Canada, having no Canadian experience, and then it's always become a challenge to break into the job market. I know. I mean, this at that time, Calgary was booming, so there were more jobs than the people, those who actually could take those jobs. But anyways, I want to learn a little bit.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to one thing, as you have already mentioned, and I also mentioned that yes, it was a boom time. and I was lucky enough to came and landed in Canada in that time, right? So that is the first thing, right? First. Second thing is very important, like, and I ask all my fellow that do socializing, right? This is a very important thing, right? How much you can socialize yourself. That is very important here in Canada. So when I landed up here, I started building my social circle, right? So this is one of the reason based on, because most of the jobs, even if you look at, if you look at around, like most of the jobs like 20% of the jobs appear in, in the job portal. 80% of the jobs do not appear in even in the job portal. So where is this job? How you get these jobs, right? It's all based on, if your buddy is working, or if your friends are working there, or if your peers are working there, keep contact with them. And this is one of the reasons. So I got I followed the same approach. I started building my social circle, and one of my friend, he basically recommended me, and then I got a job actually. So yeah, I don't want to, I'm not shy into that, but this is what the reality is, right? So this is not something you should, as I said, that 80% of the jobs in the market, uh, based on, how much social you are, how much, engage you yourself with the other people, right? So this is, I would suggest every person who is basically coming to Canada, and it's not only with, it's not something like you are taking favor of anything. You, if you can do that, just, and you can deliver it, just, explain this to the people, right? So yeah.
Okay, so then you started, and I think you made a good point that when you land in here, the first thing ever that you think of that you need to start with is building your social connections. So when you graduated, did you switch to a different job, or was it the first job that you continued with, and then you sort of, you upgraded yourself, or you promoted to a different high level position?
So I started my career as a mechanical engineer in a local company, in a local firm here in Calgary. And I did work there for a few months, and then I switched a company. I got a better offer actually. The other company, engineering company, again here in Calgary. So I switched from this company to another company. I don't want to name those companies, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, so I switched from one company to another company because there was, that was a big company, has a lot of big capital projects. So I switched from one, and I did work for a few months actually in my first company.
Okay.
And again, the connections, make difference. So as I said that before, right? And then also same time, your professional skills as well, right? So these two things, right? Connections and professional skills, they go parallel, right? So you need to upgrade your professional skills, and same time you need to build your connection.
So Khurram, when you were you married that time when you came here in Canada?
That's a good question. No, at that time, no, I was not actually.
Okay, all right. Because generally it's difficult to go like master level of education with the family and with your full-time work. But what would you suggest? Would you suggest people, those who are coming as an undergrad, when they're coming here, they should go for masters? In previous interviews that I had with other people, they recommended doing the short courses, not the full-term degree.
It depends, like, again, it depends person to person, like how there is no such thing, like I said, the concrete answer for questions like this, right? It depends person to person, and every person has a different experience, right?
Mhm.
To me, like, I would say, and I would actually recommend that do your masters, right? Do get your master's degree. When we come to Canada, the only degree we have is basically degree from our back home, right? So uh, it gives confidence to the person who is hiring you, that he has, if you have a degree from here, if you have a Canadian degree, it will give confidence to the person who is hiring you, that at least he has learned a lot, he has learned something from our schools as well, right? So that's one thing. So, and then secondly, it gives confidence to you as well. You get familiarity of the culture, the culture is different. Culture wise, it's a different culture, right? We are living in a different culture. We came from, we come from different culture, and now we need to adopt the cultural values as well. So at least when you're going to the school here, you are adopting those culture as well, right? So that's important actually. So and other than that, there is another thing actually. Number 2 point is basically, when you are going to the school, you are also basically uh, telling people that you are interested to integrate into the society, into the professional circle, right? That's the indication that you have already decided that you are interested to integrate into this society. Second thing. Third thing, it will also help you out if you are basically uh, so for example, in my case, I have an engineering degree from Pakistan, but if I there is a registration, like we need to get ourselves registered from regulatory body here, engineering regulatory body, which is a PEGA in our case, right? Association of Professional Engineers in Canada. They also you also get credit of your masters if you go and apply for getting PNG status, professional engineers. So these three bullet points I explained to you why we need, why we need to do MH, right? So that's my point. Again, one may differ from my thought, but that's what my
Oh, I
point
think,
is.
Khurram, you made excellent points there. The first, the point that you made about confidence, that is very crucial, because when you are ready to go some serious education, that proves that how serious and confident you are about your career. Second thing you mentioned about culture. Again, the culture is so different here, and when you have certain years of sort of, I would say, experience studying as well, that shows that you are, I mean, you have sort of now become Canadian as per se. And third thing is that it allows you to sort of, to achieve the
Certification.
certification, professional certification. I want to talk about culture. I think is one of my favorite topics at work as well is culture. And I'm very sort of, excited about culture. Uh, if you, when you came and then you started living here in Canada, can you recall that, some of the things that you found culturally different, or you sort of, you became, those became you sort of, your points that you observed a lot?
So I guess your question is more about like my personal experience in terms of the cultural differences between what we see there in Pakistan or what we see here in Canada. Yes, there is a drastic difference. Like when you come and when you come to Canada, and you must have noticed and especially like in jobs over there, there is first of all, there is no corporate culture, unfortunately, in Pakistan. It's the it's the mentality and attitude there, and unfortunately, I would say that you come from the culture where there is a um, one man show, something like that, right? I would call it, right? One man show there, that there is no corporate culture. So you need to learn yourself what this corporate culture is all about, right? This is totally a different culture, right? Here, there is no one man show, or there is no, I would call it,
Your boss is
uh,
right.
yeah, your boss is right, always right. That's not something here, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is basically there are other things as well, right? So here you normally don't you don't call your boss to sir or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something like this, right? That's the first cultural shock, right? You need to call person from his or her name actually. That's the these are the small things, right? So when you go and join the job, and then you start you start job, these are the cultural shocks you feel. But in fact, like eventually you get used to of it, right? So and when you start flowing with the river, you know that how how other how other fishes are in the in the pool, right? So eventually you learn like from so these are different things, right? As I said, that like in our back home, if you notice that the boss will always sit in the in the middle of
Micromanagement.
the table, or that's not the case here, right? So he may sit anywhere, right? So those are the small elements, right? You come to Canada, and So, and that's one of the reason I said that you start integrating yourself, you start socializing yourself, not only with the people of your community, but the people from outside of your community as well. So that will, so you have, when you're going to go and join the company or job, any job, professional job, you have less cultural shocks because you have already adopted many things upfront, right? So,
Okay. No, that's great. I think in one of my previous interviews, somebody also mentioned that the bosses here don't micromanage. They give you liberty to do things the way that you want. End of the day, they want the results and they want you to accomplish things that are you are I mean required to. And back home, it's very very tightly managed, and you always to look into the boss mode where the what boss is saying. Here is very different. Okay, all right. So
yeah, here the culture is like, and the other thing is basically here you are working with different ethnic group people
yes.
with different backgrounds, right? They come from different background. The good part of Canada is basically it's is a this society is, and this is one of the good part of this society is basically no one basically even ask you where you from, where you know what language you speak. We have people from Philippine community, Indian community, right? And this is the beauty of this is a bouquet, bouquet of different
Flowers here.
different flowers, right, in one bouquet. And all flowers have different smells, and all together it comes as a beautiful smell of Canada, right? So that's what I call it, right? So
I think
that's
I
the
would
beauty of Canada.
re-emphasize. I would re-emphasize the Canadian
Yeah,
is very diversified
yeah,
workforce. When you come here, you need to, or actually, you learn eventually, but you have to respect for everyone. You know, you have to work with them. You have to sort of show courtesy. You just mingle with them. You don't. You forget where you from because nobody asks where is you from. So we are all just in sort of one Canadian per se community that has a lot of different colors of flowers and different
yeah.
shades of people, so they work together.
Yeah, inclusiveness is one of the key. Actually, what I've seen here when I came here is basically most of the corporates they uh, uh, they focus on this factor, inclusiveness, and this is the beauty of this working environment here in Canada.
Great. So now, Khurram, you are now sort of working as a project engineer. So there may be some tipping points in your career. What I'm trying to get actually that when you develop yourself, what are the key things areas that you could call out as those were sort of helped you either training or you have already mentioned social and connections, but what are the few things that you can call out as that help you to get where you are right now?
So currently, I'm working, by the way, as a project manager
Project
here.
manager.
Yeah,
Okay.
project manager. And I started my journey as a mechanical engineer. Then I switched from mechanical engineer to mechanical lead, and then mechanical lead. I also I also switched from mechanical to the quality department as well
Hmm.
for some period of time, and then I switched from project quality to quality management to the project management. And this is one of the finest route, I would say, that okay, go this way, started. So if you're a mechanical engineer and if you come here and you want to go, by the time you think that now I need to move to another, I need to diversify myself so that so I would say that upgrade your skills, professional skills, do professional certifications as much as you can in your part time, whenever you have a time, start doing, start thinking about that. And it's not necessary that you have to go to school, right? You can, these days it's very, convenient. You can get those certifications or those license while sitting at your home as well, right? So this is not something difficult, especially in these days, right? Especially after pandemic, it's getting much easy, right? If you so, as I said that, okay, yeah. So uh, 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 getting certifications, license, and tickets and all such things, to improve your professional skills, so that where you want to land it up, you can you want to progress, you can do that.
So now your title is project management. Did you do any project management training, any education?
I did courses from UFC, but I didn't do anything like I am not the PMP certified, certified by the way. But yeah, I did get some trainings as well, and I did some short courses as well. And yeah, nothing like special like PMP certification or things like that.
Okay.
But here the concept, yeah, here the companies, what I've seen here is if you can just elaborate your skill set that you can do that, and you have a attitude that I can do that, certainly they will hire you, right?
Yeah.
They're not gonna go and dig into your, okay,
Yeah.
how you gonna do that? If you can do that, yes, you can do that, right? So that's
So,
the attitude.
okay. So a lot of people, those who start engineer, they, I think, stick to maybe engineering. They become engineering manager and then higher title. And then if you compare your duties and tasks that you're performing now compared to when you were engineer, you call out any, do you notice any difference now that you have to act differently, or you have to sort of, approach your work differently?
Yes, so when you're working as a project manager, when you're working as a discipline engineer, like uh, project mechanical engineer or electrical, your focus is only on your that particular portion of the scope. You don't focus about the costing, scheduling, or things like that. Financing, all these aspects. But when you're working as a project manager, your focus is basically a big. Your focus becomes big, right? So
Mhm.
you will be basically looking so many other things, which certainly when you're working as a discipline engineer, you're not looking. Again, I'm not saying that discipline engineers do not, they have knowledge of, there is, they are, they have in fact more knowledge. I'm not saying that they do not have knowledge, but again, they don't look at the big picture, right? But when you are working as a project manager, when I'm working as a project manager, my role is basically to look at the big picture actually.
Mhm.
So where the financing comes from, where this goes, how the scheduling works, how the costing work, how the estimation work, things like that, right? So yeah, it's a difference of, different roles require different, skill set and different, uh, job requirements. So yeah, it's a different from one job to another job, same as like this.
So if you look at your traits, can you think a trait that you think you need to maybe work on it, or you think that maybe require more than the other traits? Uh, Generally speaking, not very specific to you, but when you doing your job, you think, okay, you know what? There's one area that requires more emphasis or more focus compared to other areas.
To me, or like as a general
Yeah,
rule?
well, I mean, when you do your project management and then you're doing it and you're thinking, okay, you know what? There is one competency that is required more than any other competencies to perform project management.
So for being a project manager, and this is, I started this journey very, it's not, I started this project management job as a project manager very recently, right? So,
Mhm.
but I feel that, okay, you have, you know how to utilize your resources, resource management. This is something typically when you're working as a discipline engineer, you're not much focused about how to allocate your resources, but you're working as a project manager, you learn how to manage your resources. This is very important being a project manager, and this is one of the competency you need to develop, during the journey of your project management role, right? So
Okay, great. I think yeah, that's and resources being not only human
yeah,
beings, resources is equipment, resources are
yeah, this, when I say resource means it's work, it's it's human resources, is everything on this, it comes in the definition of resources, right?
okay, so Khurram, I think in 15 years of time that you started your career in Canada, and then you have now become project manager. That's commendable. So some people, those who are coming as here as fresh, new mechanical engineers. So reflecting back to your career, what are you maybe two or three recommendations for them to do when they start they're fresh here and they're starting their career here in Canada?
So if anyone who is starting his or her career as a mechanical or any discipline engineer, I would say that is stick with this at least for next 4 to 5 years. don't start even thinking to move into project engineering field or project management field or any other field. So if you are a mechanical engineer or you are an electrical engineer, I would say stick with that at least for next 4 to 5 years. Work in that because it's very, very important for you. You know, there are other things as well, because here, as you know, that there is a requirement of getting PH as well. So if you start your career as a project manager or a scheduler or estimator, right, it's getting harder and harder to get the PhD status, right? So I guess the first milestone you should have that you need to get your PhD status, right? Professional engineering status here in Canada. And it's convenient if you start your, it's easy to get the PhD status if you will be starting your career as a, discipline engineer rather than working in other field, right? So that's the tip I want to give this to all my discipline engineer folks that don't even think about it. That okay, I'm gonna start right from the, though you have experience back home, but it always good you must get experience here, technical experience, and then go to the management. That's what I'm gonna say to all engineers who are coming to Canada and starting their career.
Any other recommendation for them? I mean, in terms of uh, breaking into the job market, any approach they should follow, or
You know what, like the cell phone or phone, start calling people, right? Don't sit and just keep applying, sending your resumes here and there. You can like and I don't know exactly other people, but when I come to my office and I have 50 emails to check, right? In my inbox every morning, right? And in fact, every second person has a similar, similar kind of, thing actually. So what I'm saying that keep calling people, right? This is not something, even if, if you're going to make 50 calls or 20-25 calls, maybe one person will certainly listen to you, right? Or maybe 2%. So, and regardless of what the outcome is, don't worry about the outcome. I remember when I left my first job at Floor, I was at Floor, my manager said, okay, don't worry, you can call me at any time, like regardless if I'm responding or not responding you. Maybe I have, you are lucky enough, you call me and then I have a job, right? So I will rehire you. So that's why I'm saying that this phone is there, call people, right? Start calling in your circle, and uh, from friends of friends and friends of friends. So that's why I call it, like the socializing is important. So you have more numbers, more contacts. Call to recruiters as well, approach recruiters. And in fact, these because of the pandemic, suddenly we cannot go for coffee or tea time, for coffee, for a cup of coffee, but at least you can give them a call, start establishing a connection with them.
um,
That's
mhm.
very important.
No, that's a good point. I think you have to knock each door, because you don't know which door is there is an opportunity sitting for you. You just
You have seen the politicians, what they do is basically they do the door knocking, like these days you have
right.
seen that. This is similar, exactly, you have said the right thing, that we need to knock every single door regardless what the outcome is. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Great, Khurram. I think this was your professional side of the story, and you definitely made some really good points. There's some things that themes that come out as common across all interviews when I talk to people, but those are really because it's a reinforcement, the things that are important for people to follow.
Yeah.
The other side is, if you allow me to now, that I mentioned in the beginning that there are only very handful of people who actually think and do some meaningful contribution towards the society, and you are the brain behind Friends Cafe, and I'm truly amazed to see that how you guys work and function as one, actually one bigger family. I wouldn't say community, it's just a family, tightly knit family. If you can share some ideas or shed some light. How did you how did you come up with this Friends Cafe idea?
So by the way, before Friends Cafe Club of Canada, I was also working for another organization named NIDA, NAD Alumni
Oh yes,
Association
yeah,
Alberta,
I forgot.
and I was in fact the president of that association
Yeah.
as well. And NIDA was mostly focused on Canadians, or the graduate who came, who comes from NAD University in Canada. So So back in 2016, I remember, if I'm not, so there are a couple of my friends who are not part of the NAD, and they're in my close circle. So I realized that we should do something for them as well, right? If what we will be doing in in NIDAP. So I started this small group in WhatsApp. Actually, I started this group, and then it got it's getting expanded. By then now we have more than 1,000 professionals connected to each other with this platform, and we are sharing knowledge, same as like we are doing right now here, right? Sharing our experiences, sharing our knowledge, and we are connected through different social media platforms and outlets. So we are in WhatsApp, we are in Facebook, we are in YouTube, we have our website now, it's under development, by the way. And we do a lot of events. Like, so we what we did, in fact, we also registered our association, and now it's a registered association, and we have 5 chapters. By the way, we expanded this club because now we have chapters in Alberta, 2 chapters in Alberta, Calgary, and Edmonton. We have chapter in Vancouver, GTA, and Ottawa as well. So there are total into 5 chapters actually, and there are 4 domains. I would say, I would call it domain where we work for. One is the welfare, the second is the recreational, third is the welfare professional, and fourth is the social. These are the 4 domains we work for under Friends Cafe Umbrella.
Great. So you, I was going to go back to the question that I had. That why did you think about it? What was the need that you? I mean, you were doing something for Nadab, but then you started Friends Cafe. I'm trying to think. What was the thought process? Like, that you being young, you have a family, you have a job, and then the time you spend with the community. I can't think of how you manage actually, but it's a lot of commitment from your side. But what was your sort of what was you looking forward when you come up with this idea?
So in fact, as I said, that and when I landed up here in Canada, I really felt that, okay, we certainly have a community who can help each other, right? And not only for the social needs, but also for the professional needs as well. And in the same time, we also need to enjoy our life, right, while we will be working. It's not like always workaholic, right? So I also feel that we should also connect each other, and there should be a platform where we can do all such recreational activities all together, right? So those things were in my mind. So, and I had an idea that why not we start this club actually. So we started from a small club, and uh, now it's a big club, by the way. So yeah, we started. So this was the idea in my mind, that why not we should have a club where we can do all such thing in one club, right? And we can build a community. Actually, it's a fam, as you call it, like a family cafe. We call it cafe family, right? So why not we build a family? We don't have most of us, we don't have our close family, relatives here, right? So the idea was that to bring families together, friends together, and do and I've always focused on socializing, right? So this is one of the platform where you can socialize each other. You can share your happiness, your sadness. You are part of one of our group. You must have seen that if there is a birth, I always give birthday wishes. If there is
Yes.
a so this kind of thing is, we call it like a cafe family. So that, yeah, that was the concept in my mind, right? Back in 2016. So I started with a small group, having such thing in my mind, and alhamdulillah, I got a success actually. So
Oh, that's great. I think the first thing you notice when you come to Canada, you're standing outside the airport in minus 30 degrees, that you don't have people. If you were
yeah,
back home, you would have at least 5 people, 5 families coming up just to pick you up, just to
yeah,
be there at the airport to see you like for the first time. But here, life is very, very centered towards your own family, and you always
Mhm.
feel that there is no extended family. And I think it's a great thinking, Khurram. I really appreciate and admire that the approach that you took. And I wish that this family got always gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And when people come from different part of the world, they don't feel that there is no family, because there is
Yeah,
family. Their family exists. At some point
yeah.
in time, you may have, I mean, people go to pick up someone from the airport, right? Some
Yeah,
people.
yeah. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I got a call, actually, day before yesterday, I got a call from one of my, I don't know, the person was from India, actually. He's coming from Ahmedabad. He called me right at 11 p.m., 11 p.m. actually. He called me and he said, okay, Khurram bhai, I got your number. I'm a member of your Friends Cafe Club of Canada FC3 group. And I know you guys pick the people from airport. I'm coming from Mexico. Can you arrange someone to come and pick me up? And then in fact, it was like 3:30. His flight was the very next day. He landed up yesterday, by the way. And I dropped him actually in the, I went to airport, I picked it up and dropped it into his home actually in downtown. So he was very happy. And so this is what I said, that this is the family concept. That even if you don't have relatives, don't worry about that. Give us a call and we will be there to help you out as much as we can. We have constraint as well, but yes, as much as we can.
So, Khurram, if someone wants to join Friends Cafe, how he or she should join Friends Cafe? How do?
So currently we do not have a membership setup yet. The only thing is, the only way you can join, the few ways you can join us is basically through our social media outlets. One is basically the WhatsApp platform, and the other is the Facebook. These are the two, big platforms, social media platform we use to, to bring people on board on our, on our family. So either Facebook or WhatsApp actually. And we can share our link if you want in your chat room, if anyone is interested to join Friends Cafe Club of Canada. And certainly you can pass on this to the viewers, or even in fact in your YouTube channel, in the comment section we will pass, we will share the link for those groups.
Okay, great. I think that's all I have, Khurram. I know you want to go back to your work. It's a working day. But before we call it off, any final remarks that you want to say?
I would say that what in the final remarks, I would say that nothing is impossible, right, in life, right? Everything is possible. All you need is keep working on, towards your target. Don't be shy. If you don't know, don't know. It's not the end of the world, right? So keep working, keep work hard, right? And at the same time, enjoy your life. This is the only life we have. We're not gonna get anything, any other life. So enjoy your life, and same time, do your best as much as you can, right? And inspire others with your actions. That's all I'm gonna say that.
That's great. Thank you very much, Khurram. Khurram, I appreciate the time, and I really hope that people that who would listen to this would get some real good insights from your story. Again, my pleasure that you talked to me today, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good day. Thanks.
You too. Thank you, guys. Until next story, take care of yourself. Bye for now.